Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends, the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, but you can call me the Black Hatchet. Across from me is my fellow captain and yours, Captain Philip Ressisher. Evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Very good. I'm very good. I almost forgot how to podcast, though.
It's been a while.
What's that?
It's been some time.
Okay.
Since we, cranked up the old jet and got going, but it's November, middle of November. Christmas is on its way. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. And, we're getting close to been doing these flights for a year.
Well, as a matter of fact, this is episode number 50 for us. How about that? What do you think of that?
That's the century mark.
That is the century mark. Congratulations. Where did you go to school?
East Peoria Community High School.
Oh, boy. Someone failed you there, and that's okay. Because week after week, you never fail me.
Oh.
Because what happens is, I bring it up, and I also bring it down.
I do all the stuff in the middle,
and I can't do that stuff.
Right.
So week after week,
That's how we went. That's why we got through pilot school so quickly. Mm. We went to Phoenix University online.
Yeah.
And we took the course, and there was like 3 days where we had to go to the Peoria Airport.
Whirlwind events
on
those days.
So.
Yeah, and you know what? Something else I'm excited about today is we have another person joining us here.
It's been a long time since we had a frequent flyer.
Mm-hmm. I think this is the first repeat guest.
I would say yes, it is.
Okay.
I accumulate a lot of points.
Yeah, you really do. Thank you so much.
It helps when I plug you guys on my show. That gets a lot of automatic points.
No one can catch up with you at this point.
But where you get the most points is when you share a link to our show.
Oh, like I did today?
Yeah. So I was like,
how about that?
Well, welcome.
He's trying to butter us up is what it is.
You can hear his voice.
He knew he was going to fly today, so that's why he shared
it. Welcome, Dustin, to the show.
Hey, everybody.
What?
I'm not going to get things cracking. That's on the other show.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
I don't have a Couch Pilots catchphrase yet.
Okay.
These are brand new windows. We don't want to get them cracking.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You guys were always talking about the plane being from Judas Priest.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was, because you've talked about Eddie being on the side, and
that's Iron Maiden.
That's Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that guy, but I don't know if I think that was actually an 80s band that sold you this plane.
They toured in late 70s together. I think it was in 78, their world tour.
Yeah, they did that world tour together.
Okay.
The Metal Gods is what it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because
no, everyone knows
Rob
Eddie
Halford,
is from everyone knows that Rob Halford slept with Eddie, and that started the big controversy about him being gay.
All right,
but it's cool.
I just wanted to make sure. I thought you'd been bamboozled.
We want to remind
a lesser band.
Iron Maiden less than Judas Priest.
No. I'm a Maiden fan. I was saying that wasn't Iron Maiden nor Judas Priest. That it was just some other
just some
group.
guy who didn't know his stuff and tried to pull I gotcha.
Well, but we sold it back to Judas Priest.
Yeah,
so whether it was
that's weird that they would have bought it with
Eddie on there.
Why not?
We gave it.
I mean
they can paint it.
They can put those wraps on like the NASCARs.
They're on their
wrap them in like 15 minutes.
Their farewell tour, so they'll get a little use out of it.
Are they on there right now?
Yeah, I think it already happened.
No, farewell.
We're doing 2 shows, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast.
Speaking of, you have a show called Drunken Lullabies on the
Correct.
SCF Network, and you guys drink a lot of craft beer.
Yeah, we do.
There is a Iron Maiden craft beer, isn't there?
We have drank it on the show before.
There's more than one
two different
kind.
ones. There is the regular Trooper, and then there is one that is called Trooper 666 or something like that.
Now that part makes sense. The 666. What is the Trooper part?
It's the number of the beats. Well, the Trooper. That's one of their songs.
We come to see the Trooper. That song.
I thought it was "Hey, we come to shoot the rooster." Alice in Chains. That's them.
No, we come to fuck your pooper.
Oh,
that is
wow.
Rob Halford, isn't it?
Yeah,
Wow.
that was Rob Halford.
Because I kind of run in parallel routes. I kind of flank around Drunken Lullabies a little bit, and I kind of collect all these bottle caps. And so I notice all these bottle caps. They have little Eddie bottle caps out there.
We did an episode where we drank nothing but rock band influenced or themed beers, and that was one that we enjoyed on there. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
Do you like the new plane?
Yeah, it's a lot.
You were on the old plane.
Yeah, it's roomier. The stewardesses are nice.
Yeah, we're still testing them out. We don't know if we're going to keep them.
They seem to be competent enough.
I'm a little worried. I'm a little intimidated. There's so much technology in Air Force One. I feel like for years to come, we're going to discover things we didn't know the plane could do. You know what? I have a feeling we can do loop-de-loops now.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Well, I mean, we didn't get that plug-in.
Glade?
No, the plug-in for the computer program.
Plug it in.
The WordPress plug-in. We didn't get the loop-de-loop WordPress plug-in.
Right.
So I'll have to look into that.
Well, if you guys are doing loops, just let me know because I'll cover my beer with my hand.
Sure.
Did you say loops or lubes?
Both.
Lubes-de-lubes? That's enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
I come to fuck your pooper? That's not what this show's about.
No.
We're not about that.
No, we're not about that at all. I really don't like that was even said. I don't remember who even said it. I don't like that it was said. This show's not about that.
Let's just rewind.
Come to fuck the front door. Yeah. That's better. That's more aligned with what we do here. This is a show where Blake and I, we're both airline pilots. We're captains of the sky cops, if you will. We have complete domain over the air, and we take advantage of that by soaring through those skies and watching television shows that had one and only one episode, and we dig into it, and then we tell you about it, and you get to enjoy it. How wonderful is that?
Right? We do all the work,
Yeah.
and just give our listeners enjoyment.
Oh my God, so much pleasure.
We give lots of pleasure to our listeners.
Yeah, and now we have even more technology here on Air Force One to do so.
We have so much stuff that we can do on this. We can actually pinpoint where they are on the GPS when they're listening,
and where their pleasure sensors are.
Social security numbers we can easily get. A lot of coding.
Yeah, we love codes. We love ones and zeros, especially when it spells out pleasure.
Yep, and the Pacinco machine's back there, so it's readily available to us at all times. It's great.
A lot of times people don't know what the Pacinco machine is. Sometimes our first time listeners... No, that's okay. Can you please explain what the Pacinco machine is?
The Pacinco machine is the device that we use to calculate our listeners' downloads, frequent flyer points.
Hooah!
Al Pacinco.
Right.
I
was just letting it soak in.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It doesn't run on electricity. A lot of gadgets.
Solar powered.
A
lot of panels. Winding, gears, springs.
It kind of looks like a steampunks machine in a way.
An automaton.
A Rube Goldberg device.
That's right. There's a lot of eggs and rolling of eggs and
There's
cracking of eggs.
There's a chicken in there.
There's a chicken in there for sure.
Yeah. And there's a hamster on the other side to cool it. Like the hamster goes on the wheel to cool
the chicken?
The Pacinco machine.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All the bells and whistles and gears.
But together they're all a part of the Pacinco.
Sure,
it's like a Voltron.
It weighs 7,000 pounds.
That's why you had to get a bigger plane.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we saw the Pacinco machine emerge from the water, and we said we're going to need a bigger plane.
Right. When we moved, and we from the old plane, we had to get everything out of it. Mm-hmm. We had to get a special one of those helicopters, those Army ones that have the two sets of propellers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had to get one of those to lift it up and move it.
Yeah, it was not cheap, but it was well worth it. All our numbers are accurate, more accurate than even the most high-tech piece of technology today.
We know what countries are listening. Mm-hmm. We know how many people aren't listening.
Did we already talk about the pleasure sensors or not?
Yes,
okay,
yes,
I'm sorry.
Definitely. So,
well, today we talk about a TV show, and it's going to sound very familiar. You're gonna say, "Hey,
sorry, I downloaded this episode already."
I already heard this episode. It was fantastic.
False.
Jason,
one of the most downloaded shows ever.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And they're going to think, I already heard this episode. Why are they releasing it again? Is this some sort of prank? Jason and Blake are so handsome. Why would they do this? And the truth of the matter is, this is a brand new episode.
And this is a special episode.
Very special.
Very special.
As Coolio once said, We got something brand new for that ass.
Oh, I love Coolio. I love cooking with Coolio.
Coolio knows that you ain't no hoe.
Does he?
Yeah.
How's he know that?
Gotta put your ass up on a pedestal.
Oh, well, that's nice of him.
Where, they always talked about a Fantastic Voyage. Where did they go? Where
I don't know, but there's something about slippity slides involved, so I'm down with that.
Yeah.
We're thinking about putting one in the plane, a slippity slide.
Wouldn't that be great?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how you get off the plane, on a slippity slide?
Well, there's also that one, but what we do is we just, from the bathroom, and you just run a little bit, and then you just slide down the aisleway.
I like that it's now a slippity slide. I like that. Pretty good.
We digress.
Pretty good name. So today we are watching the pilot episode of Super Clyde from the year of our Lord 2000 plus 15.
Now, you'll remember we did 2013 about a month ago.
This is what I think. 2013, great year. This one, 2015, great year.
A good year for the Roses.
A better year for the Roses.
Oh, an interesting twist.
Always outdoing us. Always outdoing us.
Well, no, because 2013, it's been established, was a good year for the
Sure.
Roses. So 2015, even better.
Even better. Not the best. We're getting there, but pretty good. What are some highlights of 2015? I know we've usually we like to go in order from chronologically the past to forward, but since we've kind of caught up with modern times, we're kind of recycling some of the years we've already done. But we still want to put you in that mind frame. So when you watch Super Clyde or take in the information we're going to give you, you can do it in the proper mindset.
Sure. And you just have to go back a year.
That's it.
We're not asking you to go back to your childhood.
No, we wouldn't ask that.
How old were you in 2015?
34. 34. How about you?
41.
Yeah, that can't be right.
40. I was 40.
It depends on what month.
No, all of us are born on January 1st.
Well, no, I was going to say because part of the year I was 33.
Not if you're born on January 1st.
No, we're all to be on this flight. You have to have been born January 1st.
I didn't. I was not aware of that. I was born at 10/4.
Good buddy.
Yep, good buddy.
Smokey and the Bandit, baby.
Ooh, a bandit baby. Abandon your baby.
Exactly. That's the first thing. People get in this plane. I said, "Hey, abandon your baby."
There's a lot of good stuff. 2015. I can think of a couple right off the top of my head.
Okay, I've got a whole list here, but I'm interested to see what you have to say.
2015, launching of the FCF network.
Oh wow,
nice.
I like that.
Also, a fair maiden named Brianna met a handsome, strapping young gentleman named Dustin. And the rest is history.
Storybook. It's a storybook love.
Storybook love. When I think of love, and the goal I try to meet is when I look at these two.
Sure. They set the gold standard for passion and romance.
It's amazing that a couple that could be so far apart in age could find true love together.
I think I heard the most recent episode
of
Drunken Lullabies where
Freckles is not happy.
Freckles is on it very often. And she had mentioned something about her being 11 years old, which I don't think is the case.
I never heard my name. I heard my name more times in this episode than I have when I've been on the episode.
Very good. Okay, so those are some great hallmarks of the year.
Yes, for sure.
And that definitely puts us in the mind frame, sitting in this room, all of us who were born on January 1st. But not everyone who's listening knows exactly what we're talking about. So let's do a little bit more general things. At this point, Bill Cosby, knee-deep in rape trouble, right? But he continues to perform. Why would you continue to perform, you think, if you had everyone under the sun saying he put his D inside of me unwillingly?
Right. Well, that's a rap.
I know.
He put his D in me unwilling.
The D and the B and the Joe. Rudy.
Theo. It's denial. It's ego, and it's, hey, I'm going to keep living my life so people don't think I'm being affected by this, so I don't look as guilty.
I'm a be me, right? The I'm a be me tour.
That's what it should have been.
Or I'm a rape you tour. I have seen Bill Cosby live.
Really?
Not since the raping. Or, well, yes, since the raping, not since it's been made aware of.
Okay. I was like, wow, you saw him when he was 12.
I actually, he was great live. And still, I like Bill Cosby. Like, he's a piece of garbage, apparently. But, man, his comedy, that must really conflict people who grew up watching him. And think,
I know. I listen to a lot of podcasts from comedians, and a lot of them have to struggle with that. They saw his comedy as inspirational.
Well, I mean, Richard Pryor started out basically just being a Bill Cosby ripoff until he kind of found his own voice. Yep. and became a pioneer himself.
Yeah, Bill Cosby he's such a great storyteller. Speaking of podcasts, I listened to WTF with Mark Maron, and before this broke, he was saying that he was going back and listening to these old Bill Cosby. He said his timing is perfect. He's an incredible storyteller. He sets, again, the gold standard for being a comedian. And when I saw him, it was well into the, hey, all you black guys, take care of your kids, pull up your pants, stop talking slang. And I went to go see him.
Go rape more women.
Right. Well, I think he didn't say that at that
Use my juice.
That'd be a great product, wouldn't it, for him to sell? But I was worried that he was going to be this old curmudgeon, but he wasn't. He was very good when I saw him. And then we found out he raped a bunch of ladies.
Well, different strokes for different folks.
I guess if raping works for you, Baltimore riots. You remember this? The Baltimore riots rocked the nation in April. Freddie Gray was arrested by the Baltimore police, and he was in good health. But while being taken in a police van, he received injuries to his neck and fell into a coma. This led to protests, which intensified after Gray's death became public. The civil unrest witnessed damages to businesses, injuries to 20 police officials, 250 arrests, and 150 vehicle and structure fires.
Wasn't this the same riots that caused the Orioles had that game with like the White Sox that like they didn't open it up to the public and they played with nobody?
That was a weird game.
That was the weirdest thing to see.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
There were fans that stayed outside the gates and were kind of watching it and kind of cheering, but yeah, there was nobody in there.
That very bizarre. Charlie Hebdo. What does that even mean? It's a newspaper in Paris. I'm going to talk about the attacks, but what does Charlie Hebdo even mean?
Wasn't he a big activist many years ago?
Maybe. Sure, yeah, okay. Terror struck in Paris 1 week into the new year when a group of men with extensive ties to terrorist organizations targeted the offices of a famed satirical newspaper. 2 men shot their way into the offices of Charlie Hebdo, while a third waited near the getaway car. Why is it always bad news?
He did like a cartoon or something that
of Muhammad,
pissed off Islamic people.
And that's not the first time that they've had issues like that at that magazine. They're a
lightning rod for controversy.
Right, it had happened before. Mm-hmm. Maybe not in the same context, but it had happened before.
You can't draw a picture. There can be nothing physical, a physical incarnation of Muhammad. Why is that? Have any of you studied the Quran?
No.
Me neither.
Not in this life.
I mean, I've seen tons of pictures of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I mean...
Rest in peace.
He said...
R.I.P.
Float like a butterfly.
R.I.P.
For viewers, that's a very physical joke.
Rest in Parkinson's. Right? No?
I think so. And then this one was very... I'm not going to read this. On-air shooting in Virginia. I don't remember hearing about this. Some guy,
the newscaster.
You guys are...
I remember seeing the footage. That was messed up.
I didn't see it. I think it's out there to be seen. I do not want to see it. Yeah. It's like seeing a guy get his head cut off.
It's pretty messed up.
Yikes. These are all bad things.
Rest in Parkinson's.
You never have good things.
I thought the miners being killed. No, the miners were killed. That's right. No, that wasn't good.
Let's just focus on the FCF network launching...
Brianna and Dustin's love and FCF Network's only thing that happened in 2015. And we go to the next one.
Just last night, you and I were at a gathering, Captain Phil's.
Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. And
we both had our aviator glasses on. We had our leather jackets on with our patches.
We went back to back a couple times.
And we had khakis on. And just when we walked in the room, everybody was just like, these guys.
It's like Maverick and Goose.
Exactly. I'll be Goose.
I'll be Goose. How about we both be Goose?
Okay.
Just a couple of geese.
Yeah. You can both be Goose.
And then we walked in, and you're right, we made an entrance. And the whole vibe of the place changed.
Sure.
Right?
Girls were just staring at us.
Fawning, I would say. Right?
Yeah.
Fawning. That's a word, right? I didn't make that up. Girls will fawn on occasion.
Is that where they pee on to mark their scent or something?
It's like when a girl laughs so much she pees, or is scared that she pees. Girls pee easier than guys.
Do you think they were laughing, or they were scared when we walked in?
If those are the only two choices, and they did fawn, which means peeing yourself, it would. I don't know.
I would have to say it's scared.
Scared? Yeah. Scared of the damage that we could do?
Oh, yeah.
High five it. Why did we choose to watch Super Clyde? Some would say we watched it again. As one of our guests on the show, I have to turn to you, Dustin, and ask, why did we watch Super Clyde?
Because it was a whole new experience.
A whole new world.
That is true.
Because
sound good here.
Well,
it does sound
here's the thing, though, with this one. I don't know if it fits one of the criteria.
What?
Now, hold on.
Whoa. Now. Don't just take a hold of the joystick here and start flying this plane yourself. What do you mean?
Well, I don't know where he's steering me to.
Well, there are 3 requirements.
Yes, and that's what I wasn't quite sure.
Well, let's spell them out, and we'll see where we falter.
Okay. It was a failed pilot, so it wasn't picked up for series.
1 episode only, yep.
One for one.
Yeah, here's the one that, it was free for us.
That's 2.
Oh, yeah, it's totally free.
Yeah.
But is it readily available to view?
We did preface the entire episode by saying it was a special episode, didn't we?
We should probably explain.
If you know somebody.
Can we put an asterisk on it, maybe?
Yeah,
let's put an
like the Mark McGwire home run record.
Right.
And Barry Bonds.
This is great. I love the use of asterisks because it gives you carte blanche to do almost anything that you want.
What's carte blanche?
It's like when you're at a restaurant and you can pick individual items.
Okay. Yeah.
A la carte.
No.
A la carte blanche.
Yeah.
Blanche. We really need to do a Golden Girls
podcast.
I think her name was Blanche. I think it was pronounced Blanche.
Blanche Devereaux.
You should not know that. Dustin, you probably knew that, though, didn't you?
Golden Girls? Yes.
All their full names?
Sophia, Rose, Dorothy.
But do you know their full names?
Blanche Dubois from Streetcar Named Desire.
It's Blanche Devereaux.
Yeah, I don't know last names.
We were watching...
Spornak.
We were watching Spornak before we started.
No, that was the other last name.
Okay, because I don't remember watching Spornak. I'm sorry. Thank you for clearing that up.
You know,
that's where that's where the Coneheads are from, right?
It is.
Okay.
The very same. Yeah. The reason I say that because you pulled something like a miracle, I would say, out of your butthole earlier.
Yeah.
We were watching Super Clyde, and there's an actor that looked to me vaguely familiar to another actor from a show called Just the 10 of Us, which I believe was an offshoot of Growing Pains.
Correct.
And
in the very late 80s, early 90s.
There's a big fat bald guy, and I don't remember his name, but I remember his name was Coach Lubbock, I believe.
Correct.
Right? And then what's the actor's name?
And I go, Bill Kirchenbauer?
And I shit my pants.
And I wasn't sure I was right. I had to look it up, and I was like, son of a bitch. I am right. Meanwhile, I can't remember my brand new phone number that I just got, but I can remember.
Oh, if you want me to read it to you,
no, I'm good. I can remember said sitcom star from 2 decades ago.
It really makes me
wonder.
Over 2 decades ago. Because I have similar information in my head that no one needs to know, and why do I have it?
I need a mind wipe of some of this stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Is our headspace being taken over by trivial information where we could be finding the cures of cancer right now?
I couldn't. I don't like science.
And I'm not a big fan of cancer, so there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we go back to the third pillar, which Dustin had pointed out.
Technicality.
Is it's not readily available. We did Super Clyde, 2013. Mr. Garcia was kind enough to get a hold of us.
Well, we got a hold of him, right?
Sure.
So what we do is we contact a bunch of the creators, the writers, directors, the stars, of the pilots via Twitter. And sometimes they reach back. And Mr. Garcia, creator of such shows as Raising Hope and
Yes, Dear.
The Millers, Yes, Dear, your favorite, apparently, I'm finding out. And My Name is Earl. Yep.
My name is Earl.
So you've seen the show.
Yeah, I was very excited when you guys did the first one, because when you first originally said you were doing Couch Pilots and the premise of it, I was like, you got to do Super Clyde.
And honestly, we've been kind of circling this recording date because we wanted to make sure that you were involved.
Right. I was unable to be on the first one.
Right.
But yeah, when you told me, oh, hey, we got the other one, it's like, sign me up, fellas.
When I first
I'm ready for the
flight. Greg Garcia, I had just found out that there was a second version. I had not looked into it at all. But that was the first thing he said back to us. He said, "What did you? Which version are you watching?" And I said, "Well, 2013. I'm going to try to dig into 15. I haven't looked around yet. I haven't seen the classically blue link." And he says, "You know what? I'll just send it to you." And he did.
Yeah.
Made good on his word. So we just had a little viewing party here in the back of.
That's the first time we've ever watched a pilot together.
All of us.
It was great.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was fun with your passenger even.
Right.
With our passenger event.
Well, with the new Air Force One, we have a screening room.
The stewardess brought popcorn.
Right. We got the screening room with the leather couches,
real butter.
Yeah. Oh, anything but real butter? Get out of here.
No, thank you.
All right. So
I usually say at this point, where can you watch it yourself? And I used to dribble on about some classically blue lake. The only place you're going to watch it is at my house next to me on my couch.
Sure.
And
that's the best place to watch it, too.
And you're welcome. All of you are welcome to do so. Just come over anytime. I'm always there.
Flyer points. Cash them in.
That's right. Cash them in. I'm always there. Come sit next to me at my house. I'd be more than happy to watch it with you. Otherwise, good luck.
You want to give me your address?
It's 1122 Boogie Woogie Avenue.
Yes! Yes!
High five it.
Yes!
See that?
Yes!
See what we got going there?
Yep, that was something.
That's, I love you for that.
Look at that smile. You can't put a price on that.
That jack-o'-lantern smile.
Happy Halloween from the Couch Pilots. Whoops.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
Dustin, these are luxury seatbelts. You're fine.
Awesome.
We have a seatbelt for your beer.
Beer belt. Summary of the pilot. A meek, unassuming fast food worker finds his calling.
Wow, that summary is way overly summarized. I think it could have been a little bit more detailed.
So you feel like someone could have created a bigger summary, and then this summary would have summarized that one.
Exactly.
So it's like a meta summary.
Meta milk boner summary.
Whoops.
Oh.
Wow. Very good. Very good burp by me. Next section is a section called Interesting Facts, and it's very difficult to talk about. Dustin, you listen to the show.
I do.
You know what Interesting Facts is all about. I feel like I'm a broken record over here. Can you help us out?
Okay. Don't say that these facts are interesting. That's just what they are. It's accepted that they're interesting. We're not here to argue with you. You're going to read some things, and I'm not going to say they're interesting. Blake, you're not going to say they're...
I can't say I never do, because I have before, but I try very hard not to give my opinion, because my opinion doesn't matter. I can have it, but I don't need to share it with anyone.
I mean, I might find them insightful.
Ooh, that's not...
But that's not the name.
It's just the name of the segment.
Okay.
Interesting
All right,
Facts.
let's just...
That's it.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, a lot of build-up.
Yeah, a lot of build-up. Now it's released.
That's it.
My bad.
Did you find that interesting? I don't want to know. I don't have any interesting facts.
Uh-oh.
Nothing was available. There's not a lot of information on this available. I've got some other feedback related to the show, but I don't have any facts.
Because this has never been seen by anybody.
This is a ghost of a pilot.
We got the DVD from the damn writer of the whole show.
We love you, Greg Garcia.
We do love him.
We do love Greg Garcia.
I'm a huge Greg Garcia nerd. That's why I'm on here.
Dude, Greg Garcia and me, we're like bros because he loves me, and you'll hear about that later on. And I love him back.
That's true. Dustin, I believe you have a fact, though. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
You came with your own facts?
I
came fact heavy.
Yes. You know it. So this version of the pilot, which we will get into later, stars a different male lead. Rupert Grint was dropped and replaced by Charlie McDermott, who you may know as Axel on the TV show The Middle. He plays the oldest Heck child.
Heck.
On the ABC sitcom, which is a pretty funny show.
It's a good show.
Jason, you said you're familiar with it, right?
I know who's in it, and it looks like a funny show. I'm not a huge sitcom guy, but
Neil Flynn.
I like that there's no laugh track. I do like Neil
Yes.
Flynn. I think Patricia Heaton is almost 80 years old, and I think she is smoking hot. Something around her.
Smoking hot.
She could get it.
All three of us think she's smoking hot. High five it. Nice.
That was my brick imitation.
That was a triumvirate high
Did
five.
you guys get my brick imitation?
What is that? What is a brick?
Whispers. Yeah.
Is that from the show?
Yeah, Brick. He'll whisper, repeat things. And oddly enough, Sue, the awkward middle child, is actually pretty darn attractive once they take her out of her weird, frumpy wardrobe. And
Was she just on
let her
Comedy
She was
Bang
play.
just on Comedy Bang Bang.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever heard her on a podcast.
Me too.
Not even the great and all-powerful Chris Hardwick has never had her on. Fucking asshole.
You know what? I was just listening to Chris Hardwick today, and he had what? Go ahead.
No, I've noticed this more and more lately. Just dropping names like it's going out of style. Like he has to drop at least 6 names of people that he knows, to get through an episode.
All right. Well, he interviewed.
But hey, Nerdist, if you want to pick up Couch Pilots, we're readily available and willing to.
We know Greg Garcia.
Oh yeah. What? Oh that. This is my Chris Hardwick imitation. Yeah, guys. My friend Greg Garcia. Me and him are really good buddies. He sent us a DVD. I love that guy.
He's the Jimmy Fallon of podcasts. I did listen to him today though. And he interviewed Cassandra Peterson, Elvira, Mistress of the Night. I thought that was interesting because we did Elvira, the TV show, the pilot. I thought that would have maybe gone over better.
No, that was really good. No, but as soon as you said that, I was like, why didn't it upload for me?
I don't know the answer to that. It's so funny because like you listen to the Nerdist more than I do, and you have much higher disdain for. I like Chris Hardwick.
He hate listens.
It's a hate listen. That's right.
So. What I was talking, my insightful notation.
Charlie McDermott. Yes, when he showed up on the screen, because I didn't know who was playing the lead in this. I was like, "Hey, that's Axel from The Middle," and I know the time frame of this, and The Middle is still going. So I was like, "That's weird that he would do a pilot to be a lead on a show, which this was for CBS." Yes.
And The Middle is on ABC. So it seemed odd that he would jump ship and potentially leave a show that at that point had probably been on for about 6 seasons or so.
Yeah, it's been on for a bit.
7, I think she said the other day it was 7 going on 8.
It's been a while, yeah.
So,
it's been a while.
Good Lord. I did some research and found out that the reason he did the pilot was because The Middle had not renegotiated the cast's contracts. So they were all going to be up at the end of that year. They're all free agents as far as they were concerned. And for him to potentially become the lead rather than a supporting character, I think his character was going away to college and stuff, so he probably wasn't featured on the show as much. He took the chance, and had it been picked up, that could have been trouble for ABC in The Middle. They may have had to do a little Becky Connor action and
Sarah Chalk.
Yeah, bring in Sarah Chalk to take over Axel.
That'd be great. To bring in actual Sarah Chalk, 40-year-old Sarah Chalk. To do that.
So, but it didn't get picked up, so he just renegotiated and stayed where he was.
An actor's got to work.
Hey, man.
And I don't feel like there's a lot of loyalty with actors, too. Do you get that?
Yeah, it's where's the money, where's the job? Where's the job at?
Absolutely. I would love to talk to more actors via Twitter, but it's usually the creators and the writers, and they have more insight anyway to what's going on, but people recognize the names of the actors more, which would help us in the long run, little inside info. But the actors don't usually get back to us, and honestly, I think it's because they don't give one shit.
Oh, no. They work on a project, it doesn't go over, they're on to the next thing.
Just another job for them.
Right. Whereas with Greg here, I mean, this is his baby. This is one of his children. Something
he created himself. Not unlike the other people that we've talked to in the past who've created the shows. They're much more apt to get back to us, which we really appreciate, which bleeds into the next segment. And again, a segment we don't always do, but it's called Twitter Responses.
Twitter Responses. Twitter Responses. Couch Pilots got some Twitter Responses. Share the link.
Twitter. Thank you. Oh, wow. We're going to cut that. We reached out like we always do. And in this case, and we've mentioned a little bit from Greg Garcia, he reached back in a big way. So much so that he sent us a very detailed, lengthy letter talking about and comparing and contrasting the two versions of Super Clyde. And I read, I predict you won't like this version as much as the first one. Although the guy who seems stoned might like it better because it has a new Clyde.
That's me. Now, and to me, when I read that, I was like, that's a compliment.
Well, it means he listened to the show.
Right, exactly. But I'm like, where does he get that? Is it because I'm like really dumb or slow?
You're vaping.
And I think that's what it was. But even if you thought I was dumb or slow, Greg Garcia liked me. That's all I care about.
And he follows it up by saying, by the way, I like that guy a lot. Not a joke. He really did say that. The main thing we tried to do with the second version is to make a show that would fit on CBS more than the original. The original version was deemed too indie film for the network. And until he says things like this, a lot of times I take it for face value. We try to break it down a little bit and have a lot of fun with it. But the more he talks about it, the more I can see these things fit into the previous version. Sure. Dustin, we watched this recently. When's the last time you watched the 2013 Super Clyde?
The 2013, it was probably about a year ago.
And you seem to remember some of it because you're trying to make
because originally CBS posted the pilot on their website when it didn't get picked up. And I actually shared it on Facebook and was like, I love this show. Yeah. I wish another network would pick this up. Mm-hmm. And some of my friends actually took the time out to watch it. And they're like, yeah, that's a really good show. I could watch that with my kids. And I'm like, yeah, why did they pass on this? So I watched it then, and then I think it popped up on my feed like 1 year ago you posted this. Yeah. So I watched it again. Okay. And it's been a while since I've seen it, but it was fresh enough in my head that, I had a soft little spot in my heart for it. So
I think it's a soft spot in your head, which I thought.
No, I'm not an infant. Okay. I'm okay.
Do you have something there?
Nope. The stone guy was going to say something witty.
Nope.
Infant young. His girlfriend's young. He's going to say something about you dating an infant.
Nope.
I figured it out.
Yeah. I don't want Freckles stabbing me the next time she sees me.
One of the big reasons the first version didn't get on was that I shot 2 pilots for CBS that year, Super Clyde and The Millers. They both tested very well, but The Millers was a multicam and fit much better into the network's brand. And they knew if they picked up both, I wouldn't work on Super Clyde, or I would work on Super Clyde because I liked it much more than The Millers. So I think at this point he's saying, hey, here's a couple things I'm creating. He's a guy who wants to work too. The Millers is much more formulaic, and people would ingest it better because it's like everything else they've ever seen. Yes. I believe that started Beau Bridges and Will Arnett. And I like Will Arnett. Mm-hmm. I don't think I like this show. No offense, Greg.
I watched it the first season, and it was okay. It didn't have that Greg Garcia feel to it.
Right. Because again, maybe it was just one of those shows where he's like, I'm a talented writer. I can create something and put it out there, and I know that CBS will bite on this.
Right.
Where Super Clyde seems to be his passion project.
Yeah.
So the decision was made to pick up The Millers, and when The Millers was canceled a year and a half later, it was late in the development season, and I told them that I didn't have time to write a new pilot for them, but if they wanted me to redo Super Clyde, I would. There were a lot of fans of Super Clyde at the network, and they agreed to let us give it a second try. The original director was busy, so I hired a very talented director named Rebecca Asher. We also had a different DP, which I don't believe is Double Penetration.
No.
We're actually director of photography.
You are correct.
Rebecca Asher will have some information on here in a minute, as well as she did reach out to us, thankfully. We also looked at the audience testing and made adjustments. We're just getting warmed up on this thing. He wrote us a goddamn novel. God bless him. So as far as the adjustments...
Which is great.
It is fantastic. Yeah,
right.
Tons of great information here. He says, number one, during the audience testing, he says, the sister character tested awful. Lots of larger women were in testing. They test in Vegas during the day, and basically you end up with a lot of people who would rather make $60 watching a TV show than go to the pool. So the fact that a woman was eating a lot, getting fat, and then spent her money to make herself look hot didn't go over very well. To be honest, this whole storyline was ripped from another pilot I did called Fugly that didn't make it to CBS years before. Maybe I'll send you that one as well.
Please do.
Awesome.
That would actually be very cool. So in the new version, I took the sister character out. Number two, we recast everyone, mostly because we didn't want the CBS brass to think that they were just watching the same pilot again. Once a pilot is passed on, it's very hard for them to see it as something they would now consider putting on the air, so it's important to make it as different as you can. Plus, we thought an American Clyde would work better, and as we know, and as Dustin mentioned, Rupert Grint he's a British fellow from Harry Potter.
Ron Weasley.
That's right.
Horrible.
I didn't think he was horrible. He was charming in his own way in that character.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this later, but he almost to me looked younger, and maybe just because I'm so used to him being in the Harry Potter movie, I just see Rupert Grint as this young man, and he seemed like a younger Super Clyde to me than Mr. McDermott did. Both I liked. I may have liked Charlie McDermott a little bit better, honestly. Where were we now? We did, however, try to cast Stephen Fry again, who was the butler in the original one. He almost did it, but then he said he was going to play F. Lee Bailey in the FX OJ series, so he lost him. A role that was ultimately played by Nathan Lane. So he didn't even get the part that he passed on this for, which, I mean, I guess ultimately didn't matter since it was only one episode.
Yeah.
Number 3, we shot it a little bit more TV friendly. Nothing too dramatic, but the lighting and some of the shot selections were less indie film. Number 4, we gave Duke a job. People didn't like that he hadn't been working, and we tried to give him a story that had more heart to it. He was now driven by love. However, once again, he tested poorly. This time because he was trying to get back with his old girlfriend who was married, albeit an unhappy marriage. You never know what curveball the testing audiences are going to throw at you. It can be very frustrating. Interesting.
I've often thought that maybe Couch Pilots, we should get like a test audience for Couch Pilots. But the 4 people that download the show...
Do I get paid $60 to listen?
No, but you get a free pass to a pool.
Oh, cool.
I would take that.
There's a pool in the back.
Of the Air Force One?
There is now. Yeah.
Nice.
We got it all.
Party lights and everything.
Get a dip in the jacuzzi.
Number 5, we took out the jokes about the cats with the glasses because certain people thought it was too odd. Honestly,
what?
I thought it was very funny. And he says, a big mistake in my opinion, which I agree. That was
damn
very
straight.
funny. The new version they did, which we'll talk about when we talk about the pilot, was funny.
Sure.
But not as funny.
No.
Right.
And we recast the lawyer with a great actor named Greg Binkley.
Correct.
The original lawyer, played by Lou Wagner, was deemed too quirky for CBS. And there was a lot of trying to make the show less quirky. We had talked about that before. I think I had mentioned several times how he seemed genderless and a little odd, which apparently other people picked up on as well. But I kind of like that. I like the weirdness.
And I was used to him because he was on Raising Hope.
Right, the new lawyer.
No, well, actually both.
Oh, both of them. Okay.
Yes. I'll get into that more later, I'm sure.
So I gave into some of it. I gave into, some I didn't. When the network studio is spending a ton of money reshooting something, you try and play ball as much as you can. Sure. I'm sure there are things we did differently, but I haven't watched them in a while.
Give and take.
That's right.
Even in the TV world, there's give and take.
Sure. There's big bucks being spent.
Our relationship as pilots, there's give and take.
Yeah.
Again, you take it up.
That's me giving and you taking it.
Right. You bring it down.
Again, me giving and you taking.
But I'm doing everything in the middle.
And that's you giving and me taking.
But then, if we got to shoot something down, as Sky Cops, you're right on the trigger.
That's right.
I mean, you know, so I give it up.
Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. Pew, pew. Right?
That's racist.
White eyes are racist. I apologize.
We are not racist.
Both versions were very long once we got to editing, so there was major cuts made in each versions you watched. In the 2013 version, you never got to see a party that Duke threw with a performance of the Chocolate Rain Guy, which I think would be funny.
Wow. Tay
Sunday.
That's his name.
You're right. In the 2015 version, there was a big scene with Duke and his former girlfriend that was cut as well, with some stuff where he worked. So I can see that. The show tested well again, about the same or a little less than the first time, but by the time we cut it down for testing, a lot of the comedy was gone, so the story would make sense. My 9-year-old son once said that the first version was good, and the second version didn't have a laugh in it. Once again, it was said not to fit in the CBS brand, which I can't argue with when I see the shows that they pick up. If I had done the show for ABC or NBC, I think it would have gotten on air. Definitely NBC. I've been a flying card carrier of NBC for years. A lot of their comedies.
I thought you were going to say rainbow flag flying.
No.
I was going to say, wow.
I'm a card-carrying homosexual.
We've never talked about that. It's fine, but I mean, you know, it's
me and Rob Halford. We have a special little club. That's how we got. That's how we got such a good deal on the plane. At the end of the day, I'm proud of both versions. They aren't hysterical, but they are very well directed and acted, and the story holds up. It's a show that any age can watch, which is not something I can say about most of my shows. Most people watch the show and come away feeling good because it's an uplifting premise, and I feel good about that.
Good. As you should.
And that's something I said about the first Super Clyde was it was family friendly.
Yeah, totally.
And that counts. I can't argue when you said that the premise is a retread of My Name is Earl. Another testament to the fact that he actually listened to the show.
The whole thing.
It is a retread of that. He says, there's something I love about a show that can go anywhere. Anyone could have been on Earl's list, and anyone could have returned a wallet, so the stories can take you anywhere. On your scale, I give it a 5. Again, another testament. Bravo. I'm currently doing a show for TBS, and we went straight to series. The show is called The Guest Book, and it's the most fun I've ever had shooting a TV show. I hope to do it for the rest of my career and never shoot a pilot that ends up on your podcast again. Take care, Greg.
He means that well.
Fun fact, The Guest Book, it's an anthology comedy series. It was picked up for 10 episodes and is supposed to debut next year.
Awesome. I want to say, does Michael Showalter have something to do with that? I want to say that he does.
You think maybe Greg will fly us out for the premiere?
Unquestionably.
I can't wait.
Hot damn.
I will sit and coach.
Hot damn indeed. Yes,
I don't mind sitting and coach. I mean, we're used to sitting up here, which is out in front of first class, but I'd be willing to sit and coach for
get a different perspective.
Be great.
That is a ton of information, and I'm going to actually take it one step further. And we reached out to the director of this version of Super Clyde, Rebecca Asher, and again, she reached back. These are people that have a creative skin in the game.
Sure.
So they're more apt to do so, like we talk about. And
it's not like they have all the time in the world.
Yeah, they could have responded, been like, "Yeah, it was fun making this,"
or "It sucked," like Michael Ian Black did,
or just favored it real quick and then moved on.
Right, like
this is great.
Thomas Lennon did.
This is real interaction.
When this stuff happens, it's cool for a couple reasons. Like for him to sit there and send us that big email, he took the time.
Yeah,
but he also listened to the whole episode, which makes me feel good. But to know that they see that we care about these, we're not just ripping on them. We're
exactly.
We could sit here and just talk shit about everything.
It's
we watch.
not Crystal Cube.
It'd be very easy for us
it's
to.
Not Crystal Cube.
It'd be very easy for us to sit here and kind of mystery science this whole thing.
Sure.
Which I do love mystery science theater, but it's not about ripping apart. We've seen some real shit pilots, and we've seen some great pilots, and I think Super Clyde is one of them. I think it scored pretty damn well. And you'll find out what our score for this one is momentarily, but not until after we read what Rebecca Asher had to say to us. Hey, Blake and Jason, interesting enough, I was the script supervisor on the 2013 version, and Mike Fresco, who directed the first version, is a mentor of mine and one of my favorite television comedy directors. When CBS decided to give Super Clyde another shot, Mike couldn't get out of an existing deal to do it. By that time, I had directed a few shows, including some episodes of Raising Hope, and transitioned fully into directing from script supervising. So Raising Hope, again, another Greg Garcia venture. And a lot of the actors we see kind of recycled in some of these shows, so you can see these people are very loyal to the people that take care of them, and it's a great deal.
Seems like more like a kind of a family working showbiz family unit.
I've noticed that there are like showbiz families. The
people enjoy working together, obviously,
sure. And if one's working on a project, hey, we need so and such. Hey, but
in the 1980s, you had the Brat Pack, right? I don't know what you currently call Adam Sandler's crew, but all those guys always do the same movies and work with the same people.
They literally do the same movie over and over again.
She goes on to say, so Greg was generous enough to ask me to direct the 2015 version. Greg wanted to keep the look but change the tone just slightly in terms of story. Fresco had done such a beautiful job visually on the first one, there was no reason to change that part of it. So as you'll see, we really didn't. I'll be interested to see what you guys think since you've seen the 2013 version as well. Anyhow, I think of any other tidbits, I'll let you know. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I look forward to listening to your podcast. Thanks for contacting me. Be well.
Amazing.
Very thoughtful.
Thank you very much,
generous.
Rebecca.
Rebecca and Greg, incredible. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to listen to one of my favorite shows right here on the FCF Network, and it's called S&M Radio.
Step right up, step right up. Are you a fan of the macabre? Do you enjoy blood and guts? Does gore get you excited? Is getting scared your thing? Do you like horror movies? Boy, oh boy, do we have the right show for you. S&M Radio is the best horror movie podcast on the web. Shannon and Mark discuss a different horror movie topic each episode. Some episodes are about specific horror movies. Some episodes are about folks involved with horror movies, while others are about top 10 lists of horror movie topics. All with great music from all genres. I should warn you right away, spoiler alert, those two yahoos pretty much give away everything every time. Come one, come all, down to S&M Radio, where nothing is too taboo.
Are you a fan of the macabre? I know I am.
I love the macabre.
I'm a fan of corn on the cob.
Oh, don't get me started.
There's a cob. Never mind.
You're chomping it? Chomping at the cob?
Ty Cobb, fantastic baseball player. Horrible racist.
Love Ty Cobb.
Great song by Soundgarden. He's got
Jeremy Spoken.
Yeah, there it is.
Ty Cobb.
S&M Radio.
Good show.
You think Sato and Masochism, but it's not. It's Shannon and the other guy's name. I believe it's Mark.
Shannon and Mark. Originally that was the S&M was for Shannon and Miles because Molly used to do the show with them. And
one of our stewardesses.
One of our stewardesses. And it was they just talked to, banter.
Right.
And they played music. And then it morphed into S&M. So
she got a new job.
She got a new job as a stewardess. And I said, hey, you're making money. You need to focus on this. Don't worry about being on that podcast. And so he had to find his friend named Mark, or somebody to start with an M.
Right.
And now they do horror movies, which is what his calling is. He's really
That's his passion. Wow.
Oh.
Just like our passion
just like Christ.
Just like our passion is Christ, and that's mainly what this podcast is about. So is his in horror films. Mm-hmm. So check out what's the show called?
S&M Radio.
I don't think so. What is it? Seriously, what's it called?
S&M Radio.
Oh, I'm sorry. Check out S&M Radio on FCF Network. Download Podbean. Go online. You can find it. It's a great show. Check it out. Now let's move on to the pilot of Super Clyde.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at you guys just ready to dig on in. It's hard not to watch this and think of the previous iteration of it and comparing contrasting almost everything we see. I don't know about you.
One of the interesting things that we've never had to deal with before is we're watching something that we know the story.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was you could focus on other things during it because you knew the story. So I was able to say, I know what's going to happen. I can focus on maybe visual stuff.
Or see where it zigs when you're expecting a zag.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what has changed so it was really a different way that I've ever watched one of these pilots. I did it in a completely different fashion.
But I mean, where it zigged where it should have zigged in the very beginning is very similar.
Oh, very like almost shot for shot.
Some of it was almost shot for shot. You're right, and it was him again looking through a window, and you don't know what he's doing. And then some ladies in bright clothes doing a midnight walk. I don't know if they're part of a neighborhood watch program or just getting some exercise. But they say, "Hey, you person looking in a window, what are you doing?" And then he runs away, and they're chasing him. And it's kind of a flat freeze frame. Hey,
and he says, "Now let me tell you the story how I got here."
And it's got a really cool Flash T-shirt.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Just like you have a really cool T-shirt on tonight.
Yeah, I do.
Would you like to describe it to all of our frequent flyers?
It's a Wizard of Oz themed one. It's the Scarecrow on the yellow brick road, and he's a zombie, and it says brains. Yep.
Very good. I like that very much. Blake?
Yeah. I like T-shirts. What can I say? And I like that Flash T-shirt.
That's right. So,
and right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you this right off the bat. Seeing Axel, I'm going to call it, seeing
That's
Axel.
what I called him right away.
Yeah, Clyde, the new Clyde. Greg is exactly right. Instantly, I think that he's perfect for the Clyde on this.
You like this guy way better?
I love it.
Right turn, Clyde.
What? Right turn, Clyde?
Yeah.
Right said Fred?
That's what I thought, too. Right said.
Oh, no. You don't know Right Turn, Clyde?
No.
That's from the Clint Eastwood movie, Any Which Way Blue Says, the orangutan.
I was going to say, I know it was him with I remember the
He'd
front.
say, Right Turn, Clyde, and he'd, stick his arm out there.
Oh, yeah.
He goes back in time. The freeze frame goes back in time, kind of tells a story similar as before. I was a kid growing up. My parents are gone. It looks like he's kind of a wimpy, weakling kid, germaphobe, doesn't want to get on the bus with the school kids.
Bus driver was another Greg Garcia regular. Mm-hmm. I made a tally of every familiar face I saw, and the bus driver was the first one because he was Frank on Raising Hope. Todd Giebenhain, I believe. I could be pronouncing that last name wrong. I apologize.
They had the same uncle.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was one of the things that was...
We knew for sure when we saw the selfie pictures.
Sure.
We weren't sure, but then it was like, yep, those are the same pictures.
Yeah, so he's a child. He lives with his uncle because his parents are gone. His uncle invented Silly Putty, so he's got this massive mansion, all these great cars.
No kids, no wife.
Yep, so he's got all this disposable income, and he took on these two children.
What do you do with that money?
What do you do with it? And you don't find out until later, but we already know since we watched it.
Sure.
So you got the brother... And you got the girlfriend now. The girlfriend takes place of the sister.
Right. And that's another thing I really was enjoying right off the bat.
I preferred it as well.
Is the girlfriend, she was just there for a little bit.
Yep.
Came back a little bit, but I thought the sister thing really didn't make much sense. There was too many characters. You know what I mean? Now we can focus just on Duke and Clyde.
You're right, because when you watch a sitcom or something like that, you're looking at all the characters, and you're like, how are all of these characters going to fit into this week's story? Mm-hmm. So with cutting one out and having her kind of this ancillary character that the brother may constantly try to be in contact with, you take away a potential storyline C. Because with the sister, maybe she had something going on, and you'd have to try to work that in every episode. But
Right.
here, you kind of take that out of the equation,
Sure.
which I think
You're narrowing it down.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fat sister was gone,
Right.
but the fat cats were in.
Yes.
Nice. The uncle dies. They say this is an eccentric guy. He's
Back in
dead.
the soup.
What's
Dies in
going
the
on?
soup.
Yeah, he dies back in the soup at one of those long Batman tables. It reminds me of the Michael Keaton Batman. He keels over. He dies, and they say, "Okay, well, what's going on with all this money?" Fat cats.
Fat cats.
Now, the one prior to in 2013, it was something to do with their glasses, like glasses.
Kittens that needed correction,
Sure.
like visual correction needed glasses. Yeah.
Now, Blake, what disease do you think these fat cats would be suffering from?
Probably, if I had to guess. So what's going to help?
Feline
money?
diabetes.
Yeah,
It's a problem.
it's a real thing.
It's an epidemic.
Didn't Blake Szymanski's cat die from that?
I don't know if that's what Mittens died from, but Mittens was a very fat cat.
I thought Mittens was on the cover of this brochure.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of Mittens. I think it
Rest in peace,
resembles
Mittens.
R.I.P.
This one goes out to you, Mittens. Boy, that was the fattest fucking cat I've ever
It
seen
was
in my
huge.
life. Jesus Christ. It's like that thing swallowed a bowling ball.
I saw pictures of it. I never saw its whole body in one picture.
Technology hasn't caught up to
Right.
that cat's girth.
So, yeah, the lawyer was the second familiar face. You mentioned earlier Greg Binkley. He was I would say probably the most reoccurring support character on Raising Hope.
Yep. Yeah, he was definitely the lawyer here, which, again, he was less quirky than the previous lawyer. He says all this money's going to fat cats, and like, Washington, why is it going to them? All these, big politicians. Like, no, actually, big, fat, obese cats. He said, but don't worry, you guys can still live here, and we'll provide you food, but the money is going to another cause.
And so far, one of the things I noticed was that Clyde, this actor, was a lot more kind of cool, but laid back.
Yeah.
Not as nerdy, maybe not as uptight.
Still biting the nails.
Still
doing
still had some quirks, but you could relate better to him.
Right.
I think.
Sure. I think so, too. Jump ahead 15 years, and the kids are still living at the house, and Clyde is working at a fast food place. I don't think I got the name. I think it was like Ploppies or something before. It was some chicken restaurant, it looked like. It had some familiar faces in there. I think one of the weird-looking black dude from Workaholics. Montez. And then the girl, she was very attractive.
It was Maddie. And again, in the first one, just that one scene, very short scene. That's all you got of the story about his. But in this one, you get a lot more in depth about his attraction to Maddie and his plan. With
They're
Maddie.
laying a whole love interest story out.
I did notice that. I liked that a lot better. I think there were only 2 scenes with Maddie, but it felt like more because, like you said, he was planning it out and talking about it in other scenes. So it did feel like more, which I did like that. I'm glad they did because it seemed like kind of a one-off thing in the first one.
Right. It was just like what we're going to stick this in because we're going to if it goes to series, we got a whole storyline of his love for her, but we got to introduce her.
And also, I don't think she would have paired up well with Rupert Grint. Like you would,
Nobody would.
You would look at them and be like, "Yeah, I don't see that."
Not even a tabby cat would fit with
but
him.
What about the first lawyer?
Could be.
Clyde, so he's working there. He's got a crush on this girl, Maddie. They cut over to Duke, and like Greg Garcia said in his response to us, is that now he has a job. He's a plant man. It almost sounds like he's a big, important guy. In
he works at a lawyer's office or something. It's a big executive.
Not the
and
case.
He's just squirting water and talking to plants.
So glad you said water. He finds that his ex that we mentioned earlier, Duke's got a girlfriend.
Brittany.
She left him when she found out he wasn't getting the money, and now he sees her on TV with big fat Ethan Suplee.
Ethan Suplee,
Yeah.
Who is another tally.
Earl's brother. You know, Randy from My Name is Earl.
I love him. I love. He was on Wilfred a little bit, the show Wilfred. I liked him on My Name is Earl. I loved him in Mallrats.
Mallrats.
He's great.
Didn't he
There
play
is
in
no sailboat.
What's that? Oh, and the 3D picture thing.
Didn't he play in a movie or a show where he was like really like creepy? He was like disturbed.
He was
maybe mentally
wasn't he in
unstable.
American History X as like one of the
I think
Nazis
he was.
and stuff back when he was really heavy?
He was, he slimmed down a lot now, but yeah, he's great. I love whenever he pops up in something. I'm so glad to see that guy is still working. Anyone that Kevin Smith has demolished the career of, I'm glad to see that they still work. So the lawyer comes back 15 years later and says, "Hey, I was just joking about all those fat cats getting money. You guys get $100,000 a month. Your uncle wanted to give you 15 years after he passed to see if you could become your own man, find your quote-unquote silly putty, your fortune, your purpose. Neither of them really had, and they're very happy to get this money because, let's be honest, they need it.
Oh, sure. They've sold all the furniture, and they don't have any money.
The next scene, Clyde's back at the fast food restaurant talking to Maddie, again, laying some more groundwork for what potentially could have been their future involvement together. Mm-hmm. And that so there was three. There must have been 3 scenes with Maddie then.
Because there was the catch-up scene.
That's right. Then Duke starts working out. He's got all this money, and he's like, I hate going to the gym by myself. I've hired a bunch of people to work out here at my house, and they have to mimic my movements.
I thought this was an improvement. I put Jumpy Shoes Exercise Party is greater than Hula Hoop Girl.
Yes.
Hula Hoop Girl was funny.
But not as funny as this.
Not as funny as this. This was
because they were mimicking, like, first of all, watching a room full of people in jumpy shoes is hilarious, but then they were mimicking every single, even as he's having the conversation with Clyde and talking, I mean, they're mimicking everything.
These people are being paid to do it.
Yeah. I liked Zachary Knighton better in this role than Tyler Labine,
yep.
Which, it was 2 totally different characters, but I preferred the newer Duke.
Yeah, he was very good. The butler, who they've then hired back, who had to leave when they couldn't pay him anymore because he needed a job, he's now been hired back because they know him and they trust him. He cleans up the joint. And then after Duke and Clyde are talking, while they're working out, he kind of noticed that Clyde's down the dump. So he confronts him and he says, hey, you're obviously upset. And Clyde says, hey, you know what? I don't know what to do. I don't feel like I've earned this money.
And he's got the nail-biting thing going on.
Yeah.
And that's cool that they kept that part.
Right.
Yeah. Because it really, with having Axel be Clyde, you had to do something to show that those quirks or the nervousness.
Right.
Because the other, you have
to separate him from another character.
Tabby Cat just looked nervous the whole time and, so high-strung.
Is that what you're calling Rupert Grint, Tabby Cat?
Yes, I can't remember his name.
Is he more of a calico?
I would say he's a calico.
Okay.
A gorgeous
Is that a yellow?
calico.
Is that the golden one?
It's it's chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
Oh, I love the strawberry.
I don't like the chocolate. I just eat the vanilla and the strawberry.
There you go.
Leave the chocolate.
While you're mowing
leave
the
the chocolate for you, my good man.
While you're mowing the lawn?
While I'm mowing the lawn.
It's at this time that the butler says, Clyde, you got your uncle's heart. He wasn't a crazy guy. This is what actually he was up to. He never lost his wallet. He was purposely putting it out there so he could find good people, unfortunate people, that he could help with all of his money.
And this monologue with these 2 actors, and it was rewritten a little bit.
Right.
I liked this version of the monologue better. It seemed more realistic. It seemed more to flow better.
Yeah.
It didn't seem so stuffy. And
they showed the story differently too.
Sure.
They did it as a comic more flashback.
And we haven't really touched on that yet. The show is called Super Clyde because Clyde feels like he's becoming a superhero by helping people because he's got such an affinity for comic books, and he's got plastered all over his room.
And he, during the scene, refers to his uncle as, he's kind of like a superhero.
It clicks in his head that way. That's what works for him. And then you see all these comic panels explain the story.
Lot more.
Yeah,
and I think it helps to go quicker. I think by using those, it helps to go quicker.
It was a smart move on their part. They said the stories ran long. They had to cut certain things, which affected maybe some of the laughs you would get. So why not speed it along with some comic panels? It's a nice little montage. Clyde makes a superhero connection and decides he wants to do that. But the butler says, you know what? You got his heart, but you need to relax and maybe just write a few checks to charities.
Yeah, he's like, you have your challenges.
Yeah,
how many times have I heard that in my life?
Your uncle was a genius, but you have your
He
challenges.
also invented the selfie.
That's right. That's funny because 2 years before, in the 2013 version, he was still doing the selfies, but they didn't reference it because it hasn't entered the American lexicon at that time, which is very funny. Clyde gets his. He says, I'm not going to write checks to charity. Whatever my uncle was doing, I think this was really cool. He's kind of a superhero. I'm going to go out. I am going to do that. I'm going to go against what the butler says and put that out there. And he gets his first call back from someone who found a wallet while he's at the job with Maddie.
Mm-hmm. And he was refilling the ketchups by using other ketchups, and he had them stacked on top of each other. That was just hilarious.
Now there was a question I had regarding an earlier scene at the restaurant. How many pickles is extra pickles?
Oh, I don't know.
That's
extra pickles on the kids' meals.
Yes.
There's a little button on his panel.
A smiling pickle.
He just pressed the shit out of it.
I want all them pickles.
Beep, 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 beep. I would like a good amount of pickles.
Yeah.
On the side.
Clyde goes home and to kind of prepare for this wallet retrieval situation, what he's going to do. And when he's at home, he runs into his brother Duke, who is getting into shape. He's doing all these things to win back his ex-girlfriend.
Right. He wants Brittany back. He wants to give her what she wanted from the beginning.
And what did she want?
Well, 15
Money.
priors.
Oh, she wanted to be on. She wanted to be on
Beverly Hills 90210.
When they were originally together, before she left him after she found out he wasn't getting the money, she had some sort of love for 90210. The original incarnation was Shannon Doherty and Jason Priestley. Who is that?
Were they going to be Dylan and Brenda,
Right.
or Brandon and Kelly? Was it?
Yeah, that's right.
No mention of Ian Ziering at all,
or Tiffany Amber Thiessen,
or Tori Spelling and. Not David Allen Greer, Brian Austin Green.
Dag or Bag, right? Dag and Bag. That would be a great sitcom, wouldn't you?
That would go as well as our
Chocolate News, wasn't that show? Yeah.
Two Moms and a Baby.
That's right, it was. Two Moms and a Baby?
Yeah, I really don't. I'm surprised that Greg didn't email us about that.
Was it the lesbian moms?
Yeah, the two lesbian moms.
Oh, instead of my
and the
two
kid.
dads, it's my two moms. That's right.
That's perfect. We're available for meetings.
So yeah, this 90210 thing plays out.
Yeah, he hires Jason Priestley to show up and show him how to give the look to the ladies and how to work the hands, to how I'm listening to what they have to say.
I loved this part.
It was great.
It cracked me up.
It was funny. It was like a subtle funny. Like it was one of those things like there was no laughing on the screen,
right.
But if you're watching it, you're getting the joke and laughing.
Just pulling Jason Priestley out of
How much do you think it would cost to have him on there? How much?
He still does a little acting here and there, but yeah, you don't see him on a whole lot of stuff.
He's never going to be on again. Probably, if it goes to the series.
It's funny. The short-lived series,
it's one day.
Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23 had Dawson's Creek. James
Vanderbeek playing an asshole.
Playing himself,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So it was a kind of meta milk boner situation where he was playing himself. It would have been funny if Jason Priestley was always on the show as himself.
Right.
That's true.
Well, he could have. Yeah, he could have like the whole winning her back thing could have played out for the whole first season.
Yeah, he could have been like his trainer.
Yeah.
Maybe he ends up with her too for a little bit too. Nice. That would have been funny. High five it.
You're welcome, Garcia. Super Clyde 3
version 3
in 2016. We're there.
So Clyde sets out to meet this Mexican lady. He wants to see her. He wants to understand her plight, so he can in secret help her with the money he's got. So he goes to this place where she works. It looks like the outside of a Walmart or something.
Yeah.
And she walks by a guy and says, "I've got to get home to see my kids. They're going to sleep. Here's this wallet that I found. Can you please give it to this guy? He's going to show up here." The guy says, "Yeah, no problem." She gets on the bus. He pockets the wallet.
Of course he does.
Clyde sees the whole thing. He goes up to the bus, and he really has to do a double take because of all those germs on the bus. He's it's not agoraphobe, germaphobe. It's as simple as that. I was going to make it tough and say agoraphobe, but it literally is.
Don't make it tough for our listeners. Come on.
That's fear of crowds, isn't it?
I think, just being outside and in
agoraphobe?
Crowds. Agoraphobic, yeah.
I tell you who's not agoraphobic. The good people at S&M Radio.
Beat me to it. Damn it.
It's at this point that Clyde gets to her house. He follows her all the way home and gets busted. And it goes back to the original scene of him being ran after by these fat ladies in neon clothing.
Right past monkey tires.
Right past monkey tires. And this scene is a little bit different, I think, because they're chasing him longer. I felt like this scene went longer than it did on the first one. They were chasing longer down the street.
Yep.
And the phone call to the butler to come pick him up. He had a couple more jokey little...
And the sidecar.
Yeah.
Yep.
The sidecar was the same, but...
Yeah.
He whips out from the side street, picks him up. They cruise off together, successfully getting him out of that situation. And it cuts over quickly to Duke. And this is kind of an out-of-place scene, but it is funny nonetheless.
Yeah.
He shows up at his ex-girlfriend's house, ready to woo her with all of her favorite things, but she's not home. And what are her favorite things, Dustin?
Jason Priestley and wine coolers
and
in the trunk together.
And Jason Priestley drank 2 of them.
Arguably, some of my favorite things. So who could blame her? Clyde gets home with the butler, and who I keep calling Butler because I don't remember his name.
Right. And
not Stephen Fry.
No, I'll tell you one thing. He was in a show where he was a dad. He had
not safe for work.
He had a good-looking wife, and he had a couple of kids, and I can't remember
the name.
Bill
Kirchenbauer. I looked on IMDb on the cast, could not find his character listed at all, so I was unable to pull it. And usually, as you well know, I'm pretty good at pulling random names and stuff. This one was a blank.
I'm sure
she had
Greg
long
knows
dark
who it is.
hair. I'm sure he does. Greg, tweet us, buddy.
Help a brother out.
Share that tweet.
He gets home, he's psyched. The butler says, okay, you know what? You got a lot to learn. I'm going to kind of train you what we need to do.
Let's do this the right way.
Yeah.
Be your Alfred.
If you're going to do this, I got to be your Alfred.
So he says, this is how we're going to help him. We're going to get her a car. And just so you know, your Uncle Bill helped me, too. I was a dude who didn't have a lot going on. I found his wallet. I returned it. And he was lucky enough to give me a job and help me out in a big way by giving me a bassoon.
I love a good bassoon.
Do you?
Yeah, over some ice. Delicious. With a little orange wedge on the side.
That sounds pretty good.
That's really good. Better
They
than a pina colada.
Oh, you don't like pina coladas?
No, I don't like coconut.
Okay. They have weird,
I don't like to put the lime in the coconut.
but have you tried to mix it all together?
What about getting caught in the rain?
I love getting caught in the rain.
You're a paradox of a man.
Many have said that.
They develop a plan, a disguise, a vehicle so he can navigate, just like Uncle Bill.
And they use the comic strip here, too, to kind of move it
really
along.
speed things up big time. They said we're going to buy her a car. We're going to do it in secret. We're going to drop it off, pay her insurance, pay her gas for 10 years. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you for being an honest and good person. And it totally works.
Mm-hmm.
Clyde succeeds, and he celebrates up in his room, where before you had Tabby Cat up there listening to Uncle Bill's old records.
Sure.
Now there's a more modern record being played, but still the shadowy, the silhouette in the window dancing.
Same side of the house, everything.
Bring, bring.
I found your wallet. I found a wallet. Is it yours?
And another adventure begins. Right?
Why didn't this go to series?
Why didn't it go to series?
It's been a question I've been asking myself for years.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Why the show didn't work. CBS, this is what they said. This is what the man says. CBS is trying to move towards a younger demographic, but this is a show that may be still too young for the network. We also wonder if it's something a little too high concept for them. Before it didn't fit in with the lineup. They're trying to create a block of shows.
Oh, yeah, because a show that involves comic books doesn't fit on CBS's lineup at all.
What are they doing right now?
What?
CBS in the form of
Big Bang Theory, which, that's like their biggest comedy, and they talk kind of, use nerd
very
culture.
well with that. Oh, yeah.
And also, it's not, hey, big sloppy fat guy married to hot girl. This is their life.
Kevin James is doing something wacky.
Yeah, it's the same kitchen in his new show.
Mike and Molly. It's all
that
the
one
same.
got canceled.
Thank God. Those are all the same shows. It's all the same. You're right. Big Bang Theory, that would have paired probably pretty nicely with this show.
It would have been better than Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I totally agree with that. What would you do to improve this show, Captain Restisher?
I'll tell you what. If I was a CBS executive, I watched the first one and I watched the second one, I would give it a season. I mean, it made the changes that they wanted. They made the changes that they wanted to be made, and like I said, give a little, take a little. He did what he needed to do, but then again, it's just like, okay, it's not a big fat sloppy funny guy married to some hot chick. How are they going to live their lives? Or it's not CSI 75. You know what I mean?
75 and older.
Yes.
They shit their pants again.
Geriatric crime unit.
Oh, that would be awesome. You know what?
Starring Dick Van Dyke.
I'll put that on a smart board. We might have to do
for our
that.
pilot idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just old people solving old crimes by old people.
Right. Who stole the dentures?
Right.
Very good.
I think she choked on a Werther's original. No, that couldn't be it, Bob.
Wake up, Bob.
Right.
Bob, I'm trying to talk to you.
Dustin, what would you do to improve this?
I don't know, because unfortunately, it was a CBS pilot. I do think some other networks probably may have shown some interest, but it's also one of those things that if it's been passed on twice, it's got like a stigma to it.
Sure.
A stigmatism.
Yeah, stigmatism. That's exactly what it is.
It needs a very special type of contact, is what that means. Yeah, you're right, Blake. Greg Garcia played ball with these guys. He made the changes they asked. It still, to me, turned out to be a very quality show.
Yeah.
It could have paired nicely with a Merlot or a Big Bang Theory, and yet they still passed. I don't get it. He's obviously got a lot of clout with.
They didn't
CBS.
want egg on their face.
Maybe
They didn't want egg on. They didn't want to say we were wrong the first time. They definitely don't want to say we're wrong the second time.
And you're always right if you say no.
If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right.
Do you love me?
I fucking love you, man. And
I want to know
right.
what love is.
You want me to show you?
No, I don't.
I asked him the same thing recently.
Wait, hold on.
He denied me too.
I'm like Judas.
Here,
I'm going to deny you all
here,
3 times.
Close your eyes. We'll see if we can do it. Close your eyes for a second. We'll see if it's different.
Okay. Do you want me to show you? I think that was a girl. I would jump on that. I can't see because my eyes are closed, but I would jump on that.
Open your eyes, for Christ's sake. You're flying a plane.
You're doing the stuff in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what
He gets so mad. Dustin is a nice guy. We're good friends, but I can just see that he grits his teeth. He's like, it's over. The joke's not funny
leave
anymore.
his girl out
and
of
I'm
it.
like, if Szymanski would have picked up this joke, he would have done it 37 times by now.
And by listening to this show, he will pick up that joke and so many others right here on the FCF network. Just like the last time we watched Super Clyde, I think this is a quality program. And if it had survived, again, week after week, all these different adventures of people who picked up the wallet, and maybe one week he runs out of money. Or maybe
somebody gets his password for his ATM or his bank statement or bank account.
Gets his identity stolen. These modern problems.
Somebody gets the emails.
That's right. Or maybe he finds Jason Priestley's wallet.
They run out of pickles.
They run out. That button is worn to a nub. I don't know. I don't know. I just.
Or he gets found here, or he gets found out, and then all of a sudden he gets a sidekick.
Yeah.
Gosh,
look at you,
smartboard.
Get it? Put it down.
Hashtag smartboard.
Hashtag. Let's begin our final descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
Running parallel to the fact that there was such a lack of interesting facts outside of what the creators and the directors gave us, there's no IMDb score. There's no score here.
Sure, I should go rate it then.
You'd have to rate it 5 times for it to show up because I don't think before 5 ratings there is no average score given.
We can do it once. I mean, Couch Pilots has an account.
Well, let's issue a challenge to all of our frequent flyers, and if you do so, go ahead and put Couch Pilots in your notes, and we'll give you 10,000 bonus frequent flyer points.
Exactly. I tell you what. Well, this is what we'll do. We need 5, right? We need 5.
There's 3 of us in the room.
Go on IMDb, do a review, and rate it on 2015.
I'm going to rate the shit out of it.
For anybody besides Dustin, because he's already got so many points, I am willing to autograph my notes for this episode and send it to.
This is unprecedented. Are you serious?
No, seriously. I will sign my notes that I took for this episode.
Put it up on the smartboard.
All right. Ka-ching.
Is that the notes?
Oh wait.
There's no critic reviews either. There's no IMDb score.
I'm not a critic. Yeah. I'm only a fan.
That's right. And so am I. Viewer reviews, of which there are a couple.
I just rated it.
Perfect.
Well,
get this boy some frequent flyer points. Charlie McDermott by RACDDU, however you pronounce that. It was this was done this year, April 14th of 2016. Radiku says, as in business management myself, I know how one person can affect how people look on that business. I have found that Charlie McDermott is a cold-hearted, self-centered, with an attitude from hell person. This has some looking at Clyde differently. Mr. McDermott is like a bad apple in a bushel basket. I have experienced this type of bad person Mr. McDermott is personally. His real-life attitude is the worst I've ever seen. Peace, don't burn bridges. Who in the hell is this guy?
Wow.
Don't bow bridges either.
I wouldn't Jeff Bridges neither. None of those. What does that have to do with the show?
Nothing.
What does that review have to do?
It's a personal vendetta.
That's right. Is Charlie McDermott
Was this guy
an asshole?
like a PA on the middle or something?
Maybe.
And
we could flag this review. I'm not going to, but it is something that could happen. That is very bizarre. Has nothing to do. I'm curious to go through the rest of Charlie McDermott's efforts and to see if this person has crapped on everything he's ever done because of his.
He probably stole his girlfriend or something.
Jordan Maxwell on May 9th of 2015 says, is there still a chance Super Clyde can be picked up? Or is all of that over? Anonymous says, no, not even mid-season. Big mistake on their part. They still don't realize that Big Bang works because it draws old and young. Clyde might have done the same. The first pilot was great. The second one was awesome, like a movie. Maybe Netflix will grab it. So that was in direct response to the previous one.
Greg, we know some people at Netflix. Mm-hmm. Maybe
I have an account.
Yeah,
right. I got an account.
We know ourselves. We know Dustin.
Sure. I mean, we contribute $21 a month to Netflix. Maybe
I've been with Netflix since it was just like DVD rentals.
Maybe we can have a meeting. Maybe we can do a pitch meeting and sit down with them.
Yeah, absolutely. We can get this thing off the ground again with the support of the Couch Pilots. Anything is possible.
In the meantime, make sure to check out the guest book on TBS.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
I'm gonna put it on pause real quick. I gotta ask you guys something.
Okay,
hold on. Okay, should I be saying Mr. Garcia or can I call him Greg? I mean, we've tweeted and we've emailed and he sent us a package. Can I call him Greg?
We're best friends now. You can call him whatever you want.
We're the 4 best friends that Greg ever had. The 3 best friends that Greg ever had.
This show is built on the backs of your songs.
I didn't know if I was cool. Is it being unprofessional?
The Gregster.
Greg Meister?
We're the Millinators.
Grandma Lamb Ding Dong?
Yes, dear Greg.
Oh, I love Yes, dear
Cherry Garcia.
I wonder if he used his own name for that character.
Maybe.
Yes, dear.
Maybe so. Okay, unpause it real quick.
Okay. All right.
Oh, boy. Landing.
This part always hurts my ears.
It hurts my ears. It hurts because I love taking flights, but I understand that people don't have 3 hours to listen to us per show.
Yeah.
So, I understand why we have to land,
right?
And gas too.
It's not free.
No, but it's sometimes it's rough.
It is rough. Sometimes we have rough landings. I don't know that this is one of them, but often during the landing, I'm very exhausted. We've done so much work here. We bantered, right? That's not nothing. We bantered. We told you the interesting facts. There were none in this case. We gave you the Twitter responses. We put you in the mindset of the year. We
went through the whole pilot.
The whole thing, A to Z, soup to nuts. We did the turbulence section where we told you what was wrong with the show, which in my mind is practically nothing. We talked about reviews that are out there, but now it's our turn. Now it's our turn here. Usually I turn to you, Captain Philip Rester, but in this case...
Which is weird because we're face-to-face. And not many pilots teams fly face-to-face.
No, they usually we're side-by-side.
Side-by-side, but we find it works better if we are face-to-face.
Right, exactly.
So we can kiss back-to-back.
Well, that's what makes us great pilots. Not only because we kiss back-to-back, because our peripheral vision is so strong, and that's what allows us to be face-to-face while we pilot.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go ahead, instead of you, Blake, this time, I'm going to turn to Dustin and say, Dustin, on a scale of 1 to 7, the classic scale we provided by the mid-90s successful TV show Wings, a 1 being a Roy Biggins, the worst you can get, the top being a Brian Hackett, number 1 A-OK. What do you score Super Clyde 2015?
Okay, well, I would have given the 2013 one a 6.
Okay.
Now, I feel... they made improvements.
Even with the tabby cat, you'd still give it a 6?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I posted it on Facebook when it was first released. So I gotta give out a...
Hold the phone. This is your second time on this show.
I know.
I want you to tread very lightly here and know the weight that these scores give before you say one more
Do you
word.
remember what I watched the first time I was on here?
Hansel and Gretel, and then you came on as a character who hadn't seen Modesty Blaze.
Correct. So I know what you... and I've watched...
You know what bad is?
I've watched other pilots that you guys...
I know what bad is.
I don't want you to show me.
I've watched that
So
show.
I've watched some of these. I've listened to every episode you guys have done.
So you know the weight.
I know what I'm saying.
And what's at stake?
I'm giving it a 7.
Wow. Holy moly.
7s.
I don't think we've ever had a guest come on here and say, perfect score, and then drop the mic and run away. Get back here. Philip Rester. I got to turn to you. What was your previous score for Super Clyde? Do you remember?
I think it was like a 5, 4 or 5.
I think it was a 5, yeah.
Man.
Let's start with this. Was it better than the original?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna bump. We're giving it the better bump.
The better bump,
which is at least 1 point. So we're talking at least a 6 right now. What? I don't know.
I've seen The Tribe.
Oh yeah. Oh, the horrors you've seen.
I've seen The Crystal Cube. I'm giving it a 7.
Holy shit. Wow. Hilarious indeed. Is that Greg Garcia's outro and his?
The Amigos de Garcia Productions.
Oh my God, the pressure is on me now. I am really, wow. Oh man, I've given out a couple 7s in my day.
You have Chris Elliott,
Action Family,
yeah,
Heat Vision and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
A third one. Which you have given 1.7 for the action one. What was that? It was based on the comic book. It had Josh Hopkins in it. Global Frequency.
Global Frequency.
You've given out a 7 before.
I've maybe given out 1 or 2 in 50 episodes. I've given out 1 or 2.
I can't do it. I mean, I have to give it a 6.
Okay.
I have to give it a hard 6. There's not a lot wrong with this. It's supposed to be a comedy, and there was some funny stuff in there. To me, it just didn't. It totally should have been a series in my mind. There's no taking away from that, but it's just not the perfect thing. When I look at the things I've given 7s to in this comparison, maybe it's not exactly in my ballywick, but I do like this show. I give it a really strong 6. I think it is better, but not better than the original one, but not enough to push it to that perfect score.
And we don't do halves.
I don't do halves.
So.
It's ridiculous to do halves. I would never, for multiple shows, do
That's still a pretty good average score.
Oh,
that's pretty damn good. I'm sorry, Greg.
Let's see, 7 and 7. That's 14. Plus 6 is 23. 20.
Divided by 3.
It's pi.
7 point.
Exactly pi. Great.
Wow.
3.14 repeating.
Pi.
Or infinity.
Who doesn't love pi?
A 7 is difficult to get on this show.
Yeah.
I don't think you, Dustin, I know for sure you don't have a stake in this game.
Oh, no.
But
my ass is going to be back on Drunken Lullabies next week.
I didn't give it a 7 because I'm kissing ass. I'm giving it a 7 because I enjoyed it so much better than the last one that everything has a room for improvements. Your love life, Jason, room for improvements.
Yeah, leaps and bounds.
But it was just too good. So
the first one was good. I really enjoyed this one. They made improvements. It did maybe lose a little bit of the quirky factor, but they made other improvements that still made it better. Right. So totally great show. And with that, we close the book. Unless they make a third version of Super Clyde, which I would totally watch.
Yep.
We close the book forever.
Ever.
We'll never talk about it again.
Ever.
But we're not done. We'll never be done. As long as there's pilots out there that had only one episode, we'll keep soaring the skies.
Yeah, and then if Greg sends us that other pilot that he did, Fugly, I would love to have that one too.
Love to watch that. Join us next time when we watch the pilot episode of What's Going On with Mike Mitchell. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. Mitchell, whistle. Mitchell, whistle. That's funny. Mike Mitchell gets his big break. The chance to host his own talk show on TV, but there's a catch. We're not telling him who the guests are going to be, or what comedy bits we have planned, or even what's written on the cue cards. He'll never know what's going on until it happens. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots on iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then clicking on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to YouTube, and you know what to do. Or you could also do this. You could go to couchpilots@gmail.com, send us your suggestions, any of your fan feedback. And if you know about a pilot that we don't know about, send us that. We might know about it. We might already looked into it. It might be on the docket, ready to go. We're gonna move it right to the top of the list.
You can also follow us on Twitter at CouchPilotsPod.
Yep.
Instagram, Couch_Pilots_podcast. Facebook, Couch Pilots Podcast. We're readily available in all aspects. And should I go ahead and give the number?
Oh, that's right. We do have a phone number now that you can call in and leave messages.
We do have a dial-in number. It's 1, or obviously
you got to have a 1.
Got to have a 1.
Number 1.
910-PILOTS-1. So that's 1-910-745-6871. Leave a voicemail. You'll get frequent flyer points.
Big time.
But we'll also play it on the show.
We'll play it on the show.
You know what, Greg? Greg, if you have a few moments, 910-745-6871. You can leave the confirmation number for our flights on that, too, if you want.
Yep.
So,
and it's easier than typing.
Very easier than typing. And put it on your speed dial. Because when you're driving down the road and you're listening to Couch Pilots, you're like, oh, boom, I got to say something about that.
That's right. Comment on what you heard. Comment on what you want to see.
I will call as soon as I get a Meta Milk Boner.
Well,
I'll use it to dial my phone.
Oh, that's sexy.
Nice.
Share the show with your friends. We have all this technology available to us, all these different platforms to share and let people know about what we're doing, but telling someone yourself really is the best thing to do, and we really appreciate it. And we'll know, too. All these other aspects through social media, it's all connected to the Pacinco machine, but we still know when you tell somebody. So look out for that. Also, go to fcfnetwork.com. Check out all the family of shows on that network, from Sex with Heather and S&M Radio. You got the song Inside Now, Drunken Lullabies, IBWIP, Low Blow Podcast, and we're going to have a marathon soon, which will be incredible. You call in for that. What configuration of people do you want to see on a show? Leave us a message on the hotline. We'd be happy to oblige. Blake, anything else you want to say to our frequent flyers before we go?
Obviously, the more interaction we get from listeners, the more entertaining and we can gel together. So emails, again, just reiterating what you said. We also have a YouTube page, Couch Pilots Podcast YouTube page, where we haven't been doing video because we had a number of episodes where we had the video. Those are posted. We were going to get back to that once we get...
been transitioning into a new studio.
In the new studio and the new plane. But every episode also comes out on audio on there, too. So check it out and subscribe there.
That's right. Dustin, anything you want to say to all of our frequent flyers out there?
Hey, frequent flyers. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us on this flight. And we hope that you'll enjoy future flights. And perhaps even past flights, because those past flights, they may have already flown, but you can still enjoy them.
Thank you, Dustin. Right. Thank you. You know what? 10,000 extra points for you, because I was going to mention that. Go back in our back catalog. If this is the first time you're listening, go back in our 50 episodes we've got.
Some good stuff.
There's great ones. Subscribe. That's the best thing to do, is just subscribe, and it's going to upload them all for you. It
takes all the heavy lifting off of your plate. Dustin, thank you so much for joining us today. We really love having you.
You're very welcome.
Had a great time with you.
And with that, this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.